Don't interpret God through your lens of trials and tribulations and difficult situations and circumstances, but instead view your trials and tribulations and circumstances through the lens of God. God was there before the universe was made and formed. He didn't take any advice from anyone as to how he should form, make, and manufacture it. He put a plan of salvation into existence before the world was even created. He had planned that whenever the fullness of time had come, that God was going to send forth his Son to be the Redeemer of the world. God knows exactly what he's doing, when, how, and why. But Habakkuk, he had to learn some lessons because he couldn't quite understand why God wasn't doing the things that he expected him to do. He began by reasoning and wondering, God, why are we not bringing revival about in the nation of Israel? I've been praying for that. Why don't you change the tides, change the times, and intervene in what's going on there? But then he heard from God, and God had said to him that he was going to use the Babylonians, the Chaldeans. He was going to bring them in. They were going to be thirsty for blood. They were going to execute swift justice. And God was going to use Babylon, another wicked nation and land, to bring Israel into captivity once more. Habakkuk couldn't quite understand how this was all working out, and he began to get himself in some sinking sand, some dodgy ground, thin ice. And what he had to do was re-establish himself on truths which he knew were unchangeable from the dawn of time. Habakkuk chapter 1, verse number 12. Art thou not from everlasting, O Lord my God, mine Holy One? We shall not die. O Lord, thou hast ordained them for judgment, and Almighty God, thou hast established them for correction. Here Habakkuk begins to think about truths regarding God that he knows. He starts to think about his character, and that starts to bring things back into perspective. Whenever your mind is troubled, whenever your prayers go unanswered, whenever you think that God's not near, a good thing for you to do and for me to do is to think about truths which we know are certain. First truth which he draws to mind, that thou art not from everlasting. Of course God is. He is from everlasting, no beginning and no ending. He didn't take any advice from anyone for the things that he was going to do in this world, and he worked it all out perfectly. God's in control and he is in charge. Whenever we remind ourselves that God is eternal, that brings a certain amount of clarity into our lives and our situations. Because the troubles that we face even today, or that we will face into the future, God was there long before those trials even came. And God will be there long before those, or long after those trials come to an end. He is completely dependable. He knows what he is doing. He knows the end from the beginning. Trust in him. Depend upon him, the eternal God of all creation.